Hi, so I am going to tell you all the story about how I almost lost my baby, which I'm pregnant with now 3 times. And I'm going to try not to cry because I haven't delivered this baby yet and I don't know what else could happen because so much has already happened. So I'm just going to try to get through this. And I know like some people might think, why is she even making a video like this? Is no one's business. But if this video can help someone, that is why. I searched so many videos on miscarriages, threatened miscarriage, stillbirth, all of this, and people telling their story has helped me, so I want to tell my story too. That is why. I understand some people might think it's none of your business, but my goal is to help. My goal is to make memories. This is a memory. This is a pregnancy, and this is my pregnancy journey. So I'm 22 weeks. Let's show you my bump. I'm gonna pull my maternity leggings. It's a bump. It's a small. I don't know if you consider it small. I'm plus size, so I mean everything is pretty much big. So anyway, let's start this story. So I found out I was pregnant April 1st. April Fools, which is, it's very ironic because in the past when I was mature and stupid, I always used to joke that I was pregnant on April Fools, which you should never joke like that. It's really not funny. So it's ironic that I would find out that I'm pregnant on April Fools, and I was like, really, God? Like, are you pranking me? So, like, I've been pranking people on this day. So, I just thought that was ironic. So, anyway, I found out April. And teachers were supposed to go back to work maybe, like, in 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? Because now I'm pregnant. It's COVID. I don't feel like going back to work. I had already had one vaccine. And I was scheduled for my second vaccine, which I did not want to take because I had just found out I was pregnant. So I called my primary doctor and she said, it's okay, just take it. The nurse was trying to calm me down and saying, like, you already had the first one. It's already in your system. So just take the second one. I did not want to, but I had it scheduled. I took it anyway. And less than an hour after I got the second vaccine, I started to bleed. So I was thinking, oh my God, I'm 5 weeks pregnant. Am I having a miscarriage? So I called my OB, which at this point I had never met her in person. OBs really don't like to meet with you until you're like 8 weeks or more. So I just wrote her and called her, and she's like, order an ultrasound immediately, get the Rogram shot, which is a shot I need because I have Rh negative blood, which means if my baby has positive blood, my negative blood attacks and kills the baby. So I have to get shots to prevent that from happening. So anyway, my doctor was very proactive. I was very proud. I was like so happy that she was like, immediately get the ultrasound, go in. You're bleeding. We're taking this serious. So this is at 5 weeks. Go in, I get an ultrasound, which an ultrasound tech does it. So they don't tell you the results at all. Like, they don't tell you if there's a heartbeat, anything. You have to wait until it comes in, which you can find your results online or the doctor will call you. So this is, and at this time, my mom knows I'm pregnant. She knew like right away. She saw my paperwork in the car, which she promises she didn't, but she knew. So anyway, I wanted to also surprise her for Mother's Day. And I'm thinking like, how can I surprise her? And she already knows I'm pregnant. So this is what happened. Oh, God. So, 5 weeks, right? We're on 5 weeks. I gotta keep my story straight. It's so much, it's so intense. So I told my mom about the bleeding. She was not very worried. I take pictures of everything. She was like, it's not a lot, nothing to worry about. Wait until you have your results. So she assured me it was nothing to worry about. And I was like, okay, I'm pregnant. Like, It's nothing to worry about. I got my shot. I'm protected. So I tried to trick my mom, still playing pranks, always pranking people. And I was like, you know what? I got my ultrasound and I have a blighted ovum. Like, I really tried to research something that would sound like I'm not having a baby, so I could surprise her for Mother's Day. I just really wanted to surprise her for Mother's Day. So anyway, she's hurt 2 weeks or 3 weeks past. She buys a puppy. So I'm thinking all along, I'm still pregnant, and she bought the puppy because she thought like I wouldn't be pregnant. So I told her like, Mom, I have another appointment. They're going to give me another chance or whatever. So, and this was true because at 5 weeks, which she didn't know, I don't think I told her. I don't know. But basically my results said the sac was empty. So there was nothing there. And usually when the sac is empty, they just suck it out and you have a DNC. But my OB said, wait, do not give her a DNC, let her come back. So this was like maybe around 8 weeks or something. And my mom just bought the puppy, and it was like, wow, she bought him when he was 8 weeks and I was 8 weeks. So I already felt attached to him. And right when I held him, he would lay here, which I always felt like tiny movement right here. So it instantly like reassured me like there's a baby in there. You know, at 5 weeks, they didn't find anything. I was bleeding and nothing was in the sac. There was no fetal pole, nothing. I have all the documentation for that. And so I'm like, it really didn't faze me because I'm thinking like, yeah, there's a baby in here. Like, I wasn't sad or anything. I was just like, you just need to give me time to grow. And if you're 5 weeks and you get an ultrasound and there's nothing in there, don't let them give you the DNC. Tell them to wait. So anyway, we have a new puppy now. And I truly believe she was trying to give that to me as a Mother's Day gift. But I just told her, like, you know, my husband doesn't want a dog in the house. Like, that's your puppy. So anyway, that was the first incident with bleeding at 5 weeks. And then there was nothing in the sac. So I count that maybe as one time of almost losing the baby. Then the next time I was bleeding, I think I was 13 weeks. And with that bleeding, a clot came out. And I thought, like, for sure, okay, this is a miscarriage. So I took a picture, sent it to my doctor. And she was like, there's really not enough blood in the picture. There's nothing that you should worry about. But to me, I was so worried because I'm like, it's not just bleeding, it's a clot. So, you know, that scared me. Then at 14 weeks, I went to the emergency because I was on my way with my mom to visit my dad. And then there was just like a gush of blood. It was so much blood. It looked like a murder scene. It was just so traumatic. I told my mom, like, no, she was in the car getting something, so she wasn't in the house when it happened. My husband was just getting home from work, so he saw, and he was panicking, and he looked like he was about to faint. And I'm just hysterically shaking and crying, and I told him, please go get my mom, she's outside. And then she was like, calm down. Like, I'm basically, at this point, throwing up in the bathroom while I'm bleeding everywhere and crying and shaking, pretty much naked. And my mom is like in there with me trying to help me. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, my baby is gone. Like, I've never seen that much blood in my life. So I was just thinking, like, this is over. And I was like, man, 13 weeks and this happened. And so anyway, my mom did not want me to go to emergency. She's just like, lay down and put your feet up. And I'm like, no. I took pictures, and my doctor's like, if you feel a pad, if you feel 2 pads in less than an hour, you need to go to emergency. My mom is calling right now, but I'm recording this video, so let me cancel this. I will call her back. I will call her back. So anyway, my husband and I, we go to emergency, and we get there at like 4:30 p.m. We do not leave until 5:30 a.m. It's traumatic. It's long. We're in the waiting room for hours and hours. And of course, I'm hungry. I'm uncomfortable on the chair. I'm panicking because I'm like, I just want to know, is my baby okay? I've never seen as much blood in my life. And yes, I've had a miscarriage, so I know what clots and blood look like. This was like 10 times more. So I'm like, for sure my baby's gone. But while we were waiting, I felt movement in my stomach. And I'm like, I feel movement there. So, you know, like I was confused. And by the time like we finally got a room in the emergency room, it was late. They had to give me another shot because I had so much blood. They didn't want my negative blood mixing with the baby's positive blood. And pretty much everyone there thought I lost the baby. I thought it too because I showed them the pictures of what happened at home. They saw like the pads that I had soaked. And it was just like, you know, a heartbreaking emergency visit. And so they did an ultrasound. And then maybe like an hour later, a nurse came in and she was like teary-eyed, and I was like, oh my God. She's going to tell me what I don't want to hear. She's going to tell me what I know. She's going to tell me that I'm having a miscarriage, because her eyes were just so teary. And I'm like, oh God, why? And so anyway, she looked at me and she was like, I am so thankful to tell you this. Like, your baby has a strong heartbeat. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong. Like, your cervix may be open, and I called your doctor to talk about that, and she doesn't think it is, and she's not going to perform like a surgery to close your cervix. And basically she was like, I'm so glad to tell you this. Like, I'm going to call this a threatened miscarriage because of the amount of blood and the amount of clots. And I want you to just continue like doing your daily activities. You don't have to rest or anything like that, but I'm going to write in there a threatened miscarriage. And then she let my husband and I leave, which we were there so long he could not go to work the next day. But I was just so relieved. I'm like, yes, I'm still pregnant. I still have my baby. So this happened on a Friday. And then Saturday comes, I'm like happy, no blood, no bleeding at all. Sunday, I'm like Googling middle names for my baby, and then another. So this is three incidents where I almost lose my baby. This is the third one, and it's just like a gush of blood, just like the murder scene, just like when I went to emergency. But this time we did not want to go back to emergency because the wait was so long. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna stay at home. You know, I took pictures again, contacted my doctor, and she was like, I think what you have is a subchorionic hematoma. And basically, you're either going to have a miscarriage or you're not. It was just like plain, cut and dry, simple. And she's like, it's nothing you did to cause it. Nothing you can do to heal it. It's just going to happen. And I'm like, geez. And I'm like, do I have to go on bed rest? Do I have to keep my feet up? And she's like, no, you can do whatever you want. But I put myself on bed rest. I put my feet up. I did not walk around a lot. I just felt like truly, like it was so hard to wake up. I just felt like this pregnancy is going to be over. And so, I mean, this happened at when I went to the doctor, it was 13 weeks, but they said the baby was ahead, so it was 14 weeks. So this is 14 weeks, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever. So basically she was like, don't worry, when you went to emergency, they said the baby has a strong heartbeat, but with this bleeding, it may be a miscarriage. So I just felt like dying. I just felt so low. And I woke up and I was talking to my baby and I was crying, and I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever get to meet you, but I do want to meet you. And then I just could hear this, promise you. I say it's the Spirit of God. That's what it was. I could just hear it and say, don't worry, everything is going to be fine. Do not worry, you're fine. And so I felt a little less worried. It's hard for me because I'm always doubting. I'm always worried. I'm always questioning. Like, I feel like God himself could come from heaven and tell me you're okay, and I'm going to find a reason or think of something to make me not okay. And so I felt a little bit comforted hearing his voice saying, like, don't worry. And so I just basically had to monitor the blood. I was researching subchorionic hematoma, and I found out some are small, medium, large, and I wanted to see my doctor right away, but she was not as concerned as me, so I had to wait 4 weeks, which felt like 4 years, to get an ultrasound to see if there's still a heartbeat. You know, the blood did stop and it never was heavy again. Went back, got the ultrasound. The heartbeat was still strong. I think it was like 150. And what else? I did ask, I said, oh, what's the size of the hematoma? And she's like, what hematoma? You don't have that. And I'm thinking, like, for 4 weeks, that's all I could think about. That's all I could research. And then I come back and you tell me you don't see it, like it's gone. It's not on the ultrasound. So clearly, I'm thinking God healed me. God has healed me before, and I'm thinking like he healed me again. And so nothing else traumatic has really happened in this pregnancy, but those were 3 times. And ever since then, I'm like, I got a doula. I got a nurse that comes to the house to visit me, because I feel like my OB is very busy and I don't want to call. I don't want to keep calling. And I have so many questions, so much to learn, so much that I want to know, that I feel like I need outside resources to help me. And so far they have been helping me. I feel like I'm learning more and getting more educated. So I'm going to end this video here. And, you know, I am still praying to meet my baby. 22 weeks. Can't wait to get to 24 weeks. That's viability. We have our photo shoot scheduled for when I'm 26 weeks. And I'm very excited about that. So, yeah, I really hope this video helped you. And if it didn't, I'm sorry. But that's my story. That's my journey of how I almost lost my baby 3 times. Bye.